Likely you're watching this, you can probably come to the conclusion that just sending your CV isn't enough if you want to stand out. The problem is the very best graduate jobs receive hundreds, if not thousands, of applications, of which only 10% of them even get invited in for a conversation. So the question remains that if you're one of those graduates that's applying for roles and getting absolutely no responses, then it's essential that you have to do things differently to make yourself stand out and put you in a position where you can actually be in the interview room. So if you're the one out there applying for graduate roles, then watch this carefully, because these 3 communication habits can be the difference between securing the role and being back on the job hunt. Regarding communication, every interaction is being assessed. Everything from the emails you send, the questions you ask, and how quickly you reply. Not just when you're in the interview zone, but actually when you come out of it. And also whether you follow up post the interview. All of these small moments build an impression of what you'll be like as an employee. Employers are looking for people to be proactive. They don't want to have the concern as to whether you're working. They don't need to know whether you're stuck on something and you're not able to ask the question. So our recommendation here is simple. The first one is always be the last person to communicate. One of the simplest ways to stand out is to make sure that you're the last person to communicate on every iteration. So every email that gets sent with you, even if it's just confirmation, you'll be shooting an email back saying, yes, confirmed with regards to times. Looking forward to meeting with you. An interviewer might speak to 10, 15, 20 candidates in a week. And by Friday afternoon, most of these conversations have all started to blur together. They can't remember whether you were the candidate that worked at X, that worked at Y, that had the degree, that had this, that had that. But the candidate they heard from last is often the one that they remember the most. And if it's an internal talent person or somebody that's an internal in that business, they'll be championing for your appointment because you're the one that over communicates and looks impressive. Now, I'm not saying that you send emails every day or chase the interview up for an update every 5 seconds, but I'm talking being thoughtful around your communication. And the first thing you should do is respond to every bit of communication and confirm every email and always be the last person to say so. But also, after every interview, be the first person to send an email and say thank you. Keep it short, thank them for their time, mention something specific that you enjoyed about the discussion, reconfirm your interest in the opportunity. Here is an example of a message you could send. Hi Alex, thank you again for taking the time to meet with me today. I really enjoyed learning more about the graduate program, particularly hearing about the level of responsibility that's given so early in the careers for graduates. It certainly reinforced why I'm very excited about this opportunity and hopeful to proceed forward. Thank you again, and I look forward to hearing from you. What you're doing is you're leaving the interviewer with a positive interaction about you and a good representation of you. Communication doesn't stop when the interview finishes and the door closes behind you. The next habit is incredibly simple, but surprisingly, few candidates do it. Always confirming your attendance. You wouldn't believe the amount of times I've sat in an interview and people don't show up. This is so common. So if an employer sends you an interview invitation for next Tuesday at 10 o'clock, don't assume they'll think that you'll be there. Reply, thank them for the invitation, and tell them that you'll be in attendance. The final communication habit happens after the interview. Most graduates leave the interview by saying thank you for your time, then walk out, that's it. The strongest candidates ask one final question before they leave. The first thing they'll do is they'll state their interest. So Alex, I've really enjoyed our conversation. I'm incredibly interested in this opportunity. They'll state the 3 reasons that they're interested in this. My final question is, what reservations or concerns do you have about me, about progressing to the next stage or proceeding to an offer and me joining your business? That question gets any reservations or concerns out on the table immediately. You know that if they say, well, we need to think about it, there's probably a concern. You know that if they say, hey, here's a list, you can try and cover them off. You have to ask that question before you leave, otherwise you might be missing out on something because of miscommunication. And then worst case scenario, if you do hear something, you've just learned something that you can use to help you perform better in your next interview. Every interview should make you stronger, and you should learn from every process. So take the opportunity to do so, because in your next one could be the one that gets you the role secured. Communication is the easiest way to separate yourself from every other graduates, because so few people do it well. My recommendation is be the last person to communicate. confirm your attendance, and ask thoughtful questions that help you learn. None of these things require more qualifications, and they don't require more experience. Every email that you send, every question you ask, and every interaction that you have helps then decide whether you're the right person to join that business. If you're a graduate exploring the next step in your career and you achieved a first in your degree, then Raw Selection is hiring for executive search professionals to join our organization and support us in our growth to 10 million in revenue. Reach out to us at careers@raw-selection.com. And most importantly, support you on your journey from the grad to 80K.